What villain does deserve a happy ending? Magneto. All that rage and violence is pretty understandable. It would be nice to see him find peace before death. I really love that scene in First Class where Charles reads his min and actually sees happy memories from Eric as a young boy. Exactly. And there's almost a careful consideration to everything that Eric does. It's never evil for the sake of evil. It's almost a greater good scenario. Such a well written character. MR. Freeze from Batman springs to mind. Quite a lot of Batman villains actually. Batman the animated series was great because the villains aren't inherently evil. They're just mentally ill people and Batman legitimately wants to see them get better. Then Joker reminds you that evil people can also become mentally ill. But it also has its mix of regular crime too. Falcone and Maroni don't get sent to Arkham. Even Ra's al Ghul might have gone to a regular prison if he didn't die 3 times per episode. Dr. Doofenshmirtz. He did. In the end he ended up working for OWCA. He may have all became a science teacher. Perry and him loved hanging out anyway. So even if they fought forever, it would have been a happy ending. Plus, we get a glimpse of his far future in Milo Murphy's Law. He, officially, invents time travel and becomes known as Dr. Time. His brand is everywhere. Robbie Rotten. Too soon. Imar cry now. Roy Batty. The villain from Blade Runner. All he wanted was a life where he wasn't hunted down and seen as a lesser being. Yeah. He was really just taking the only path that didn't for sure lead to the death of him and his friends. Ice King from Adventure Time. Fortunately he does. Or at least a bittersweet one. Depending on how you look at it. Plankton. The dude is like 5 inches tall. His only companion is a computer. His best friend turned rival is making bank off of burgers they used to make together. He's extremely malnourished because all he eats is holograms. I mean I could go on but do I really have to? If he doesn't deserve a happy ending I don't know who does. Plankton actually eat light though. Tom from Tom and Jerry. Jerry was the villain in that story. He just walks in and steals Tom's sheet then beats the crap out of him. And occasionally gets him healed. Like in that episode where Tom was guarding a king's dinner and Jerry and his sidekick come in to swipe what they want and ruin the rest. Tom gets beheaded the next morning and they're like oh well lol and walk off. Megamind. He did. Bruce, the shark from Jaws. Also, Bruce the shark from Nemo. Edit, updated to reflect the shark from Jaws who has been named Bruce after Steven Spielberg's lawyer. I am slightly obsessed with the movie Jaws and should have realized this might not be common knowledge. I thought he got a happy ending. Dory forgave him for elapsing and it looked like he was continuing with his vegetarianism. Char Aznable, not even really a villain when you get right down to it. Captain Neda, he was just trying to take responsibility and protect his men. Goddamn Sith theocracy. Starscream. I see Starscream as a metaphor for man's struggle with inevitable mortality. He knows he can't ever defeat Megatron. He will always lose in the end. But damn if he doesn't keep trying. You're an inspiration. Starscream. And you should have gotten to wear your crown for longer. Without a doubt. The Wicked Witch of the West. Totally shunned for being different. Capable of maintaining an adult relationship with someone. She was totally slighted. Sandman from Spider-Man 3. All he wanted was to be able to pay his daughter's medical bills. Nothing at all for himself. He also felt genuine regret for killing Uncle Ben. Luigi. It says villain. Not hero. Loki. Totally thought this. MCU Loki is the result of his upbringing. He was a bit of a brat as the overshadowed little brother. And then he pretty much breaks when he discovers that he's the monster children have nightmares about as a frost giant. Except when they were 8 and he transformed himself into a snake. And he knew that Thor loved snakes. So Thor went to pick up the snake to admire it and he transformed back into himself and he was like, yeah, it's me. And then he stabbed Thor. Bowser in some games he's just trying to give his kids a better life by giving them a mom. It's just a kinky game he and Peach play at this point. Mario is just a big dick bloker. Killmonger. He had some really valid reasons for what he did. He may have been a bad guy, but it was understandable as to why. He was legitimately wronged. This is the problem I have with Killmonger. He's clearly capable of accomplishing incredible goals. Instead of reconciling with what been done to him, he chose to blame people for his situation and use that to justify the horrific acts he committed. He made the wrong choice. He could have moved on and done something good. I don't like that people want to find him relatable. They use it to justify their own poor decisions. Also, the guy played by Gerard Butler in Law Abiding Citizen. I'm glad he held those corrupt people. They should have given him a medal lol. Ben Linus. He wasn't a villain at the end, but he did start as one. The reason I put him there was because towards the end he realized how badly he ducked up and wished Alex was still alive. He realized that his daughter meant more to him than whatever power he had on the island. Syndrome. He had some good points and proved you don't have to be born special to be special. Syndrome was a very relatable, realistic villain as much as an archetypical supervillain could ever be. But he died attempting to kidnap a baby after trying to heal that baby's parents. And that was after he tried to destroy a city with no regard for casualties just to egotistically look like a hero stopping the damage. And to top it off, he was a superhero serial killer. Take superpowers out of the equation as Syndrome would have wanted. And imagine, say, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos committing all of those crimes. Society would see this villain as a monster who puts everyone from Osama bin Laden to psychopathic Batman villains to shame. And a happy ending would be the least of anyone's wants. Full stop. The Phantom of the Opera. Depending on the version of the story. In the novel, Eric is pretty unforgivable, understandable, sympathetic. Yes. But the dude kills several people almost at random. Has a horrifying custom torture chamber. Used to be an assassin torturer. And threatens to blow up a large chunk of the city if Christine won't marry him. The Coyote. Taste that delicious roadrunner, my friend. Thanos. He had a goal. He did all the work himself. Got there over time. And achieved it through sacrifice and great pain. It's really just rhetoric for successful people. Successful people work hard through numerous amounts of failure and really work hard. Make calculated, and sometimes uncalculated, risks and lots of sacrifices. The Avengers represent the common person. They believe that they have victory as part of their destiny. And ultimately, they fail because of arrogance. My only issue with Thanos is that by killing 50% of the population you probably end up killing a lot more people too. Plane pilot dies. The whole flight dies. Surgeon dies. His patient dies. Scuba instructor dies. All his clients die. He should have wiped 40% and given himself that extra 10% as breathing room for the ensuing deaths. The Vulture. Such an interesting non-villain. He was going to shoot a ducking teenager to save his job. Like. It's sad that his career got screwed up, and it's nice that he wanted to provide for his family. But he definitely sat in a car and told a high school kid who was genuinely only trying to stop crime that he would heal him. And he meant it. The guy is relatable. But he's the epitome of a person who becomes a villain by choosing himself and what he cares about over others. Squidward. If he counts. The Grinch. Captain Cold from DC. He just wants his sister back. Man. That's why he keeps committing crime. Because it was something that he and his sister had in common. The poor guy just can't let her go. And it's sad. The Perfect Storm. It's not doing anything wrong. It's not doing anything other than what it's always doing. If a few orcs want to diddle around in it, that's on them. Man. Satan. All he wanted was democracy in heaven. And for humans to have knowledge. Kira Yoshikage deserved that quiet life. He just wanted to get some hands by killing women with his cat ghost that makes gums named after songs by Queen. What's so wrong with that?